Evening all. So today is going to be one of those let's learn together kind of days. Um, what I would like to figure out is brickwork. Now, as you can see here, for this house, which is at a considerably larger scale than 00, which is my normal scale, it has brickwork, and I'm quite pleased with the way it turned out, but it's quite laborious, and the method I used, which is to stick individual bricks on, made out of egg carton card, isn't really doable in 00 scale. At least not if you value your sanity. So what I would like to do is a technique that I've seen a lot of wargamers do, which is to carve the bricks into foam board, or foam core, as it's also known. So what I have here is an offcut of foam core, which is, what foam core is it's basically it's foam sandwiched between two pieces of paper. Now, what the wargaming terrain people recommend you use is the cheap stuff that you get from dollar stores. Now, as you can tell from my accent, dollar stores are not a thing we have near me, and our equivalent pound shops are not nearly so well stocked. The advantage of dollar store foam board is that it's easy to peel the paper off. That's not so easy with this stuff, which is very securely stuck on. But it's okay. There is a way to get it off. What you have to do is run it under warm water, which should loosen the paper, dissolve the glue, and not bend or damage the foam board underneath. So, that's what I'm gonna do. So, here it is. That is stripped of its paper coating and left to dry, and now we are ready to go. So, this, I must emphasise, is something I'm entirely new to. So what I'm going to do is, with me mechanical pencil, just going to mark out some lines, and what I am doing here is I am carving, I am carving, basically. I'm pressing quite hard into the foam. This stuff takes impressions really easily, so you also have to be careful not to, scratch it or whatever. I mean, this is basically the same stuff that you get with like meat trays or pizza bases, that sort of thing. Now, I must admit, for this I am not being too careful with how far apart they are. And I'm just going to scratch me bricks in. Thus. So here it is. I've cut the wall down a bit. I'm not doing the whole thing because, frankly, there's things I want to do before Christmas. So I'm just going to do this, and what I am starting with is a thinned down and fairly runny coat of this mortar colour. This is actually Citadel's Zandri Dust. You just want to make sure that it runs into the cracks between the bricks. There we go. Thus and so. And I'm just going to leave that to dry. So as you can see, the mortar colour has dried. The pencil lines have created a sort of dirty mortar effect, which is great. I want to ultimately use this to create a kind of dirty industrial look. You might want to use a different instrument, like maybe a cocktail stick or something, if you don't want that, but I do, so happy ending. Right, next up is the brick colour, and what I'm doing for that is I'm using Vallejo's red leather, which I am brushing on very lightly, like so. You see how quickly that covers up. Now obviously you don't have to use this colour, and I would say do try to find reference material for buildings in the area you're modelling, because particularly if you're doing older buildings, they'll tend to have a very specific colour of brick. For instance, East London, which is the area I want to get onto, uses a lot of, or used a lot of yellow brick. I mean, they still do, but you know, these days transporting bricks is not such a problem. But yeah, look for the appropriate colour for your area. Probably going to have to go over this a few times to get it to the right level. To be honest, this is quite a thin paint. Probably should have shaken it more, but I hope you can see where I'm going with this. What I'm also going to do is pick out some individual bricks, because at the moment it's kind of a bit too even. And what I'm also doing is I'm bringing in different shades. So here I've got more of a kind of a brown. Sorry, that focus is just dreadful, isn't it? This might take a while. There, that's suitably random. I quite like the effect, because the first coat has gone on quite thin, which I think it adds quite a bit of depth to the brickwork. Because again, with brickwork, as with so many things that I model, it's not just one solid colour. So yeah, that's an accidental effect that I am quite pleased with. And again, it shows that one of the best ways to learn in this hobby is just to play around, just to see what happens. So I'm going to leave that to dry, And then I am going to go on to the final stage. So next stage is just going to apply a wash of dark brown with a little bit of black, just very thin. Which I am hoping will tie it all together. We'll just go over that with another coat. Then I will leave it overnight and we'll have a look at the final result. See you then. So here's the end result. It's not the only method of doing brickwork, of course. You can get plastic sheets, you can get embossed card, you can get brick papers, whatever suits you really. Personally, I'm quite pleased with how this has turned out, and it's certainly a method I would use again. So I hope you found that interesting. I hope you found it useful. I hope it's inspired you to play around with different methods yourself. You don't have to just do whatever the magazines tell you to do. Just have fun, really. Anyway, I will see you next time. Cheerio.